Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, there's sound now. There's sound. My bad, my bad. My bad, guys, my bad. I said good morning, all. New week, new opportunities. Hope you all are well. Hope you had a good weekend. And I said if you're living under a rock, which some of you might be living under a rock, there's been a lot of things that's been going on in the weekend, right? And if you're not living under the rock, then you're going to know what's been happening. And this is going to bring a lot of opportunities, and it's very interesting to see. I will talk about it on my Instagram. So yeah, definitely going to be interesting here. Good morning, good morning. So yeah, let's get on with this weekly analysis, right? Whoever's late to the stream is not going to see the weekly analysis. Yeah, we know. Just fast forward, make sure you're watching in the recent time, and there'll be sound. Plenty of sound, so don't worry. There should be sound now. Am I right, there's sound? Yeah, good morning. There is sound. Nice. Alright, so yeah, very interesting to see what's going on with that bank. I will cover that on my Instagram. Hopefully Instagram doesn't ban me. If anyone knows anything about Instagram and thinks Instagram will ban me, let me know so I don't do that and then I get banned. It's not really what I want to happen. So yeah, let's go start on the weekly time frame and see what the weekly has done, right? So weekly has closed bearish here on GJ, okay, which is very, very interesting to see. And this week is going to be super interesting. We're going to cover gold, but this week there's going to be a lot of potential of flash news events, a lot of maybe quick pivots from the Fed, or some type of announcement from Powell and I don't know what, and Yellen. So we have to be super, super careful, right? We have to be super, super careful, and we have to understand basically what's going on, right? So we have a Fed announcement today, right? Fed announcement today is going to come out at 2:20 a.m. in the morning. Doesn't really matter, it already came out, sorry, and they basically announced that they'll reimburse. TT blocked me, so be careful. What's TT? What is TT? What is TT? Yeah, so basically Fed announcement came out that they will reimburse everyone, and yeah, very, very interesting. We don't have anything. We have something at 10:05 which already passed. Tomorrow looks pretty clean. We have CPI tomorrow, which is going to be a big one, just based on what's basically been happening, right? So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, right, to see the change of price of goods. If the price of goods have gone up, it's not going to essentially be good for the economy here, right? So that's going to be, oh, TikTok. What did you say on TikTok, man? So yeah, I mean, today we have daylight saving time in US, so everything is shifted an hour earlier in the US. So please take note of that. In the UK, London session will change on the 26th of March, so this stream will be an hour earlier. So yeah, so let's get back onto the analysis and we'll cover some of that stuff. But essentially here, right, what we're looking at is we're looking at this weekly candle closing bearish here, but we're still above this resistance, still within this weekly candle here. We have broken the weekly lows, but we are rejecting quite quickly here, right? So the information we have here on the chart, it is a bearish close here, which does indicate that we could see some downside. But when we go down to the lower time frames, we kind of establish a range, and this range is not giving us confidence for continual downside, right? So let's go have a look at what the daily is doing. And you can see here on the daily how that range has now populated, right? I don't like this big wick to the upside. It definitely shows a lot of weakness in the market. But until we start getting daily closures below 161,825, I don't see this continuing down heavily towards at least 160,500, around that area. So we're kind of ranging in this zone here. So even though the weekly did close bearish, there's not a clear trend of downside and downside pressure. But if we do start closing below this 161,800, we could see some heavy moves towards the downside and kind of break back into this range that we are trying to hold support. Because if you look at this as a higher time frame picture, all we're trying to do is hold support above this range, which we are holding true to. We're not breaking up, we're not breaking down, we're going sideways. So if we bring back all the drawings here, yes, it's a little bit messy, but you guys have to kind of understand what I'm trying to draw here. That's why I removed it, right? So we have this key daily support, which is kind of populating right here, and we need to remain above that, and especially remain above this daily support here at 161,800, which I believe is a 4-hour support. Yeah, this 4-hour support here is also where we need to remain above. For now, I'm going to remove this to make it cleaner. And essentially, this is our range now we have, right? So we're stuck in this range until we start getting below this 161,500. There's no real continuation downside. Every time we pop to the bottom of the range, there's a quick rejection. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, we have closed bullish from here. Daily is ranging, but 4-hour has closed bullish, but we're still in this range. So essentially, we're trading, I won't say the middle, but we're in the lower half to middle of the range. And there's not much information here as to what we should exactly be doing, right? So for me personally, I'm not interested in sells until we get below this zone here and start to create lower resistance. For buys, I think there's an opportunity to buy from the bottom of the range or to start to buy above 163 here. When we look above 163, it starts to become clean, and you can see there's some good opportunities to potentially take buys, right? I'm just marking these wicks because it's had some reaction that I just want to be careful with in the future, but buying up to here could also be a potential. It's just a bit early now. What's the range? Yeah, 23 pip range, right? So understand that the ranges we have today are pretty big ranges, right? 35 pips. So if we start pulling back and holding support above 162,500, we could see some, for price to basically try to fill this range up here, which could give us a trade opportunity. For sells below here, you guys could try it, but I'm not selling into this daily support and 4-hour rejection zone. It does not make sense for me, right? So now let's have a look at gold, right? Understand what gold is doing, because gold is super important. So gold is going to be very, very interesting after the news. I don't know if you guys watched my video this week. It was definitely an interesting video of how we expected this weekly flip, but we've immediately got the continuation on the weekly open, right? And I believe gold would have opened on a gap here. Let's see if this holds true on daily. No, there's no gaps. I don't know why it doesn't. Maybe on my broker it will show a gap, but I wouldn't be surprised if gold opened up on a gap. And that's just because people have lost confidence in the dollar, right? People have lost confidence in the dollar because of all of the news that's been going on, and they automatically put money in gold as a hedge and a safe haven, right? So the gold daily here is moving up. We have no bottom wick on daily and no bottom wick on weekly, which I don't particularly like to see, because 90% of weekly candles do have bottom wicks, but it doesn't mean we have to flip and make one now. If you look at an example here, gold also did not have a bottom wick here and still continued up bullish, right? So does not necessarily mean that you have to wait for a bottom wick here, right? So we can start to remove some of these drawings here and start to make some clear ranges, right? So I'll show you guys how to mark up a chart here. So we obviously have our daily resistance here that we need to worry about, right? So that's our daily resistance. This is where we have to hold above. The second zone we have to start holding above is going to be above this next resistance. If we get closures above this resistance and hold support, this is where you're going to see heavy upside, right? This is where you're going to see the continuation. For now, we're at this 4-hour resistance and rejecting this resistance twice now, right? So this is why we're seeing this reaction from this resistance here. What we need to see is why is my drawings that color? We need to see basically it holds support. We need to see support form, and we don't want to see basically, well, we don't I mean, we can see what happens on the chart. Doesn't matter what happens, essentially. Can't speak Monday, my voice is slow, but essentially I don't mind to see price pull back heavy here. It would be nice to see that, right? Would be nice to see price pull back. It's very extended here, very high to buy highs and very risky to buy highs. But if we start getting continuation, you kind of need to wait for a breakout above this 4-hour resistance or pullbacks to continue price, right? News, of course, can cause variance in the chart, and we can see news start to basically move the chart pretty heavy and start to break out of the zone. But if it does break out of that zone, you can start to look for buys above 1890, but pullbacks first would be preferred. So I prefer to see a pullback on this before anything. US market open today will be very, very volatile, right? So yeah, US market open is going to be very, very volatile. Have a quick look at stocks and what they've done. right? Nasdaq is still opened on a bounce, right? We've opened all on a bounce, which is interesting. Pre-market opened on a bounce, right? Yeah, all stocks here have opened on a bounce. We'll see if basically, and this is probably people trading that they came out and said that they'll help everyone. And yeah, that's basically what I expect. So maybe New York will come and continue this move towards the upside based on that positivity. But no, definitely interesting point for markets. Very, very weird price action. And very interesting price action at the same time. I think this week should bring in a lot of volume into the markets. And this volume should give a lot of opportunity, right? So someone sent a chart here. I'll have a look at their chart. This is not their chart, this is my chart, but I need to do that so that I can have a look at their chart. So let's see, have a look at their chart here. Alright, planning form, support form, I plan to buy. Yeah, that's okay, but just watch this resistance here, right? You have to watch what happens at this resistance. Preferably, you would prefer this to pull back deeper to continue up, but I get your idea, it makes sense. Only issue I have here is that you're buying into, yeah, exactly, this exact rejection resistance, right? This one here. So you kind of want to be careful from that. That's why you want to be buying from down here. Otherwise, you get a scenario like this. You get this here, right? You see that? You get these two same scenarios here. So that's why you have to be careful. You can't really buy into this 30-minute resistance here, right? So it becomes tough. And if you flip to the 1 hour and see what that is on the 1 hour, you know, the 1 hour looks clean, but then you're trading all in this resistance zone. It's very high in the market, and that's why you're going to get these inconsistencies. And that's why I said I prefer pullback first, right? So yeah, if you guys have any question of the analysis, if you want to ask me anything, go ahead, no worries. And yeah, if you like that analysis, appreciate a like. You know, if you didn't like that analysis, let me know why. And yeah, I'll write up the plan for GJ here. Right. Basically, upside for the session, supports above 63. And if you guys notice the plan, you know, the plan is very, very similar almost every single day, right? We have very similar plans and it becomes very, very easy, right? I just hard to see any, it's hard for me to believe, not believe, but see any downside just yet. Even though the weekly candle closed bearish. You know, nothing makes sense here to sell, nothing. Morning, guys. So yeah, this 1 hour is pushing up nicely. This 30-minute close made a nice bottom wick and now is pushing up to fill this range. This could have been a nice early trade here, but it's Monday, beginning of the week. I want to play it a little bit slow here. Right? I don't know how these moves. I would have wanted to been in from this candle close if I was going to trade it, not after a bearish candle close. It's not really the best idea. But we have plenty of space to buy up here. This line, I don't really need this line. I can visualize that. Yeah, so if we close above here, This is also the bottom of our range, right? This is our previous bottom of our range. We need to hold support above here. You see something like this, close above, hold support, did not break the highs, we got the rejection. And this was also that news day, right? So we're basically at the same position that we were when we had that news that came out, rejected price. We're at the same position. The continuation came above, it dumped price, and now we're back to where we are. So we definitely could see that continuation. What's this level up here? I'm gonna start cleaning my levels here. Put that like that. That should be it. This watch level. Let's have a look at this watch level. What is this watch level? Let's put this as 1 hour R. This daily resistance is still daily resistance. So I wonder if we'll get the wick fill. Hi Harry, gold weekly has some potential to go up. Can you recheck gold on weekly bias? Yes, I do. I did say that gold is bullish, but I'm saying I'd prefer to see a pullback first to continue bullish. I do think that if gold wants to continue up here, that we can have an easy target to, wow, potentially, I mean, on the weekly time frame, it's looking, I mean, I don't see why gold can't hit 1900 this week, but I would prefer to see support held above this basically daily resistance and price close above. This is looking like a bit of a rejection. We might get a pullback first before continuing, right? That's what I was saying. Would you consider the candles above 163, above 160? Yeah, these candles, yeah, this is an LTA. This is exactly what an LTA is, right? Very high volume zone. This zone in here is very high volume. From here to here, it's very high volume. You can see candles move very fast on the way down and move very fast on the way up. Which is what you want, right? So yeah, very, very interesting here. We just need to be careful of flash news. Be good to have, you know, Bloomberg open or something like that, just so you guys can check the news. Right, Financial Juice is a good website that tells you flash news, right? Look at this, Goldman Sachs, given the recent strength in the banking system, we no longer expect the Fed to raise interest rates in March 22nd meeting. Boom, very, very, very interesting, right? That's a big thing. Biden, he just said on Monday, I will speak about how we will maintain resilient banking system to protect our historic economic recovery. This is worrying here. This doesn't really, I don't really believe this right here. I don't believe that they will stop raising interest rates. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, the whole point, the bank, you know, it exactly followed the direction they wanted to follow, right? So basically what we saw is that we saw jobs go down because they're trying to ruin the tech sector, right? They ruined the tech sector by trying to transfer basically the reliance back onto the government instead of the the banks, right? Well, the smaller banks, they want to move it to the bigger banks. So that's what we saw. As a result, now they have to rely on the government. Right, we see gold push up heavy as a reaction. 270 pip push on gold. We also see Dixie go down, right? Gap opened up on a gap. Really no dollar strength here. As well as Bitcoin. People started putting money in Bitcoin here, right? Let's look at what Bitcoin's doing. Weekly candle. Huge rejection still in the range. Daily candle. That's juicy. That's closing back in the range. There's no reason why, if the daily, same as on gold, doesn't closes above 22.5, we don't see it push up easily to 23.100, right? Potentially higher. Gold created a weak support. So what about sell below 1877? No, I won't sell. I won't sell gold. You can if you want to counter trend it, but I'm not. That's very, very risky, you know. That's very, very risky. If you sell gold below 1855. That's how long you have to wait. Comfortably. To comfortably sell gold, you know, or wait for a daily candle bearish and at least one, you know, there's not even one 4-hour candle bearish here. There's no confirmation of resistance. You know, that's just wishful thinking. If you get it right, yeah, it will pay you big, but the amount to do that long term, and long term you'll see how many times that fails and how much you don't get paid out by that, right? It's all about expected value. What is your expected value in that certain setup or that certain way, you know, style you're trading? If the expected value is low, but, you know, it creates, basically gives you a good shot once in a while, it's not going to be good long term because those losses will just be covered by that one win, right? There's 30 of us in here. I'd appreciate if you guys hit the like. Try get those up. More people to view the stream. Lots of info. It's kind of a chill Monday. Times have changed in USA. New York session is an hour earlier. And chat is very quiet. You guys are very lazy on Monday, huh? I can see. Very quiet chat. Where did you learn trading? A lot of places, man. A lot of places. Not a lot of places, but through a lot of work. Started in crypto, then moved to Forex, then from Forex moved to basically still didn't move to anywhere, but moved to price action because I started with smart money concepts. So started with smart money concepts, moved to price action. Where is MOE? What's MOE? Mall of Emirates? Is that what you're asking? Oh, this is... I see, I see. You mean when or where? I think you mean when. We can see here, you know, now price is rejecting pretty slow. We need to wait for volume times. If this happened at a volume time, would be pretty good. Yeah, we're waiting. There was like 10 people who wanted to meet, and then I put out the link, and then no one replied, right? Well, not no one replied. We had only like 5 people join the link. So if anyone's in Dubai and wants to join the meetup, you're welcome. Because then if I do it, and then there was like 15 people at one point who wanted to meet here. And if I do it, and then they're like, oh, sorry, I got busy, I missed it, when are you do it again? And then it's like, oh man, come on, listen up. What's my opinion on SVB? Yeah, I'll cover that. I'll cover that. So, I'll answer this question first though. I have a doubt that London open time changed. No, NY changed. NY is now for me an hour earlier. So yeah, they have their daylight saving times, but still London has not changed. London will change in March 26th. So I don't know why they do this. It's super confusing, super annoying. Have to change your whole schedule because of it. But no, that will change on March 26th. But now it's basically just changed for the US. My opinion on SVB, bailout from the Fed. It's not essentially a bailout. Yeah, it is a bailout. I mean, they're just giving people the money. I think it's funny, right? It's funny because essentially what this does is that they're making the Fed, they're making the people, the companies, these small tech companies that have a huge future in basically their unicorns. Unicorns essentially mean companies valued at $1 billion, and they have a huge potential to grow and add a lot of money to the GDP, but then the government want to make them reliant on them, right? They want them to rely on them basically. So it's very interesting to see that plan where now they're like, okay, if any future, in the future, if you guys need money, we'll be happy to give you money. And they take it away from the small banks so that they have control, right? So now that they have control, they can implement any plan that they want. Apart from that, trying to ruin these small companies, they're also removing jobs, right? They're removing jobs, and that's exactly what the Fed want to control inflation. Right? They want to control inflation, and the way they're going to control inflation is to have less jobs, because if there's less jobs on the line, then there's basically consumer prices remain down essentially because there's less jobs being offered, and inflation comes down. Opinion on GU? Yeah, we can have a quick look at GU. Let's have a look at GU. So opened up on a gap, weekly opened on a gap up. Daily also opened on a gap up. So daily is bullish though. 4 hours bullish at the top of the range. So this is the worst place to buy GU. You either have to wait for price to close above, or you're looking for deeper pullbacks like on gold to continue up. But buying at the top of the range here is a no-go. This is a very risky place to do it. You're not selling as well. You probably either want to wait for us to get above or come back towards this support here and continue up. My thoughts on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is... it's not financial advice, but I do think it has a place in the future, and it's a good asset. If you understand it very, very well and understand the risks. Everything has risks, but I think Bitcoin does have its place. Just depends on how the world navigates regulation. So we shall see. But I rate it for sure. GU might come back to the support zone. Yeah, that would be better. That would be better than to look for buys if you came back to the support zone. Trying to buy at resistance is very, very tough. And normally never works out, right? Never works out buying at resistance. It's a bad plan. It's a bad plan. Great advice. All good, man. All good. So yeah, I expect, you know, some really weird movements this week, but I hope it brings some good volume here because this is not fun. This is definitely not fun. Bit like watching paint dry, and yeah, I have better things to do. But in the meantime, there's a very cool video that I made, right? That I recommend you guys watch. Right? And I don't know why people skip out on these type of videos, but everyone asks me, I always get a question on how do you trade news. So I made an exact video of how before the news move happened, I was talking here on gold essentially, right? How this candle on gold, look, this is in the morning, the same stream that we're watching now. If it loads, there we go. This is the same stream in the morning here. I talk about this weekly candle, how it can flip, and I explain exactly how I did that, right? And it's very simple. You guys will be super surprised at how simple it is. So if you haven't already, definitely check out this video. I'll post it in chat for you, right? Okay, and yeah, super simple way to analyze basically what news was most likely to do, and that should help you guys a lot, right? People overcomplicate it. They try to overanalyze when really it's just a matter of understanding price action. Alright, so if we had more volume in the market, if this was maybe a little bit like 30 minutes later and we had more volume, I would basically put a buy stop here on the flip of this candle and take a position. I would take probably a position like this. I'd put stop loss probably a little bit like, you know, maybe somewhere below this low, and I would target to break these highs essentially, right? And continue up. First target will be here and then continue to break the highs. But unfortunately, we're not seeing this good volume in the markets at the moment, which is making it very, very tough, right? Because this is definitely a tradable range here, 18 pips and potentially to continue. But we're just seeing this really slow movement, heavy pullbacks, you know, not doing much. So we need to be patient, right? We need to be patient and wait for this type of setup with volume. If we have this setup when it's a time of volume, then we don't need to worry about pullbacks. We can rely on the move to push us out of the zone and to continue bullish. Because you can see this happen a lot, right? Like if I show you this, check this out. Like that looks great to buy on this bullish candle here. Closed above the range, closed above the wick even. And you can expect price to continue once it breaks the high to continue up bullish, right? What ends up happening? Boom, we break the high. Everyone gets triggered in the trade and then it fails. Look at the time. This is like 8 a.m. This is late Asian session. Not the best time to be taking trades. What happens? There's no volume to continue price. We pull back and all it does is just come straight back to your entry here, right? So your trade does end up playing out eventually, but this pullback is not a fun pullback, right? Because this pullback is 29 pips, probably taking your stops out, and now it's just continuing back in the direction you intended. Now we come back to where we are right now, and you're very, very close to your entry, and not much has happened in like 3-4 hours, right? You're only up like 12 pips, right? 12 pips is not really worth it. But if this was a time of volume and your analysis was correct, this would be through the screen, you know, outside of the screen very easily. You'd be up easy 40 pips here, right? Absolutely hate taking trades during the 8 to 10 a.m. Yeah, for sure. Even 11 a.m. we have not been seeing too much volume these days. In the past, 11 a.m. would be really strong sometimes. Volume has really been coming 12 p.m. or 11:45, 11:50, 12:10, 12:15, something like that. That's why I do these streams at this time, so we can plan and make sure the plan is all set and we can answer questions, vibe out, and then in the trading session we can take good trades. Right? So don't be scared, guys, to ask questions. That's the point. I'm here. I'm not like other streamers who don't really want to answer your questions. I'm happy to answer your questions. Preston asked me if I've ever traded Bitcoin. Yes, I started trading Bitcoin. That's the first thing I started trading, and then switched to trading Forex. Gold, we talked about gold, man. Gold, it's a very simple plan we had for gold. If you just rewind, you'll understand what's happening on gold. Very simple. Earlier, 11 a.m. London and open pre-London was like fast and volatile sometimes during October and November times. Yes, that's also due to the time shift. If like now in March 26th, when we have the time shift again, what's going to end up happening is that we're going to see London is going to open at 11 a.m. So it will open basically in 20 minutes from now, and we should see volume come back at that time, right? And earlier you should see volume as well. Look, guys, there's a potential here. I like how this keeps holding support above here. You know, there's a potential that this just continues up here. We broke previous 4-hour high. We're kind of trading at this previous resistance / support. This might be an issue right here, this type of zone here, where we're kind of, you know, trying to close above. But if we do break this high, you know, if you play this higher time frame and hold stops all the way below here, right? But 50 pip stops is not fun, right? I don't want to hold a 50 pip stop here. Really, it's not worth my time, 50 pips. Because if you held wide stops, you could just take a buy here and rely on the analysis. But 50 pip stops is steep. Anything closing below 162.500, you just close the trade, right? Back into this range. If you look at this range, anything closing back into the range, you close the trade. I rather wait to see price and just try get a smaller stop and take a quicker entry. What's your reason for trading Forex instead of crypto? I found crypto extremely inconsistent in terms of volume time. Like, for example, if I wanted to trade today, it's done, right? This was the best option. We had a nice volume push came. Price pulled back, created a support. You continue. Even if you miss this support to continue buys, you have the option to close above here. When price closed above, you have the wick as a target, which it hit and continued. Like, that was your trades. I'm coming to the market now. I'm stuck in this. I've missed the move, right? But if I'm trading Forex, I know that there's always going to be volume at the volume times, right? London Open, New York Open, pre-London, all of these times is going to be volume. But in crypto, it's very, very, inconsistent in terms of volume times. As well as also, I don't like the exchanges trading with leverage. I much rather trade with basically, what's it called? Lot sizes, right? I rather trade with lot sizes, but you can trade crypto on your normal broker account, but the spread is massive. Yep, London still opens 1 hour 10 minutes. We were discussing that only New York has changed. London will open earlier on March 26th is when their times change. Good morning, Christian. So yeah, if you guys wanted to run that idea of just taking buys at the break of the high here, but you'd run big stops here, 41 pip stops. Don't want to be running tight stops before London Open, because this could easily and happily pull back down here like we've been seeing here, stop you out, and then continue bullish here. So I rather wait for that to take trades. It's Monday. There's been a lot of news in the market. Not in a rush to take a trade. I want to see if we have some volume come back in, some consistent volume, instead of just ranging in this range here, right? Hello, Christian number 2. Hope you're well. 2 Christians in the chat we have. So yeah, we have plenty of time to buy once we get above 163. There's no rush. Look at this huge zone. This zone is 69 pips, right? So you're totally okay. It's good to see this idea playing out. Definitely good to see the idea playing out. Anyone decided to take this, right? Taking the entry here, but keeping wide stops. Can you do analysis on GU? Yeah, I'll tell you, GU is very easy for me. GU at the moment's at 4-hour resistance. It's the worst place to buy, in my opinion. Very difficult to buy GU at the moment. But there is some bullish bias towards GU based on session basis. So you need to wait either to close above that 4-hour resistance or to pull back heavy from that zone. If you pull back and start to pull down and create support to go up, then it makes sense. But also this could be a high, right? This could start reversing from this zone here if this weekly starts to flip, right? And we see dailies start to close bearish here. This could just be another lower high. This gap makes it a little bit hard, but you can imagine what I'm trying to say here. If you have a daily candle closing bearish here, you could come all the way back down to here. It's possible. Like this candle looks extremely juicy here with this long wick to the bottom. Yeah, it's very tempting, this. Very, very tempting. Where's my thing gone? 4 minutes till this 1 hour close. Let's see if we can get the 1 hour close above this zone. And then if we can get the 1 hour closing above this zone and holding support, then we will continue bullish. Are you going to take trades on stream? Well, if there's a trade, I'll take it. If there isn't a trade, then I'll not take it. Not going to force a trade on stream, that's for sure. But I highly recommend you understand what the stream is designed for. The stream is designed to build you guys confidence. And in order to build confidence, you have to build a plan, right? That's number one. To build confidence, you need a plan. Number two, to build confidence is you need a plan that works, right? Which I can pretty much say that, my plan has been tested, so I'm pretty sure it does work, okay? Now, number three is that, guess what number three is going to be? Number three is that you have to execute on that plan. You have to actually take the trades. But all of you guys are going to fail massively at this part. This is where a lot of you guys watching streams are going to fail a lot of the time, because you need the confirmation of the streamer saying, I'm taking a trade here. And also, if you notice, streamers run a strategy, buys above here, sells below here, and they run wide stops, right? But this is not the point. The point of these streams is to build confidence so that you guys do number three. Because if you can't even take the trades, how are you going to succeed in these markets to increase risk and to get better at trading? It's not going to happen. You guys are going to be stuck in this circle of this really mediocre level unless you really take action into your own hands, which most people don't. So that's why I designed these streams, right? To do that. Right? To make you guys execute on the plans that we talk about. Because I want to do something different. Every other stream is just talking about buys above here, sells below here, buys if it does this, buys if it does that, sells if it does that, and then they run this simple strategy. But you always notice that their best trades are taken off stream. Best trades are taken off stream. And there's a reason for that. It's Monday, Christian. You have to give them some stick. We need to set things straight. Things need to be set straight. I want to talk about this bank on my Instagram, but I'm scared I'm going to get banned. Does anyone know if I'm going to get banned if I talk about my theory about this bank? So a lot of people, yesterday I asked on my Instagram if people want to hear about my opinion of the bank, and a lot of people said yes. But now I'm realizing, okay, did I just set myself up in a little of a predicament? Because if I talk about it, am I going to get banned? Because I have a lot of government connection towards it, and I don't want to talk about the government and get banned. Because I'm just a mere retail trader who does not want to get involved. It's everywhere already. You should be fine if you stay in line. You know me, Christian, I'm hardly gonna stay in line, right? Gold drop. Yeah, I'm not surprised, right? That's what I was saying. Pullbacks, right? Buying the highs does not work. Someone was looking for, I think it was AJ, he was looking for buys on this support, and I told him, you have to watch this resistance here, right? Can't buy into resistance. Very risky. Doesn't mean to sell though. Doesn't mean to sell. But if you guys are counter trend cowboys, yeah, you can take sells here. It makes, it's fine. But I'm not a counter trend trader most of the time. There's few exceptions, but I'm not that risky of a counter trend trader. Be a man. Okay, I'll post it. If I get banned, it's on you, Christian, alright? If I get banned, it's on you. I'll post it. But I won't stay in line, that's the problem. So I'll be very particular with my wording. I'll refer to them as they. Oh yeah, the 1 hour close. Let's have a look. Ugh. Not a great close, guys, inside the range. Right? Inside the range. Yeah, we need at least a 30-minute closing outside this range. Buying at the top of the range is a little bit tough because that's where you're going to get your rejection. So we need to close out, hold some sort of support, and that should start to be good. Then I'll be happy, and that should come by yeah, closer to London Open. If we just see this start pushing like a hammer, nothing really we can do. Then I know that I should have taken this position here and held the wide stops and not been a chicken to hold 53 pip stop. But that's with fixed lots, like I like to use fixed lots. I don't really want to reduce my lot size. That's not fun. Really not fun. I'm not enjoying that. Very curious of your opinion and looking forward. Yes, I'll post it on my story, not on main feed. I'll do it soon. Right after the stream, I'll do it. So you guys will see right after the stream. So make sure you're following. Links in the description. But right after the stream, I'll do it. If we get banned, tomorrow everyone on stream, if we see this guy called Christian on stream, we have to ban him. Right? So he gets banned. Because he said it's okay. No, my camera died. Oh man. Typical camera. Alright, no camera for today. No camera for the last 5 minutes. You guys will have to survive with no camera. I think you guys will be okay. There's nothing much. You know what we're waiting for anyway, so. Christian, it's on you. Yeah, not that Christian. That Christian is safe. I like how he comes in chat. Make sure it's not him. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Which Christian? Yeah, this should slowly make its way up here. But once we start getting closures above this 163 and we can hold support, that's where it starts to get interesting for me. Probably need a 30-minute to close above, which I do think we'll maybe get here. Alright, gotta go. Cheers, man. Catch you on the next one. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the stream soon anyways, so we know the plan. Pretty simple plan. We need to wait for above 163 personally for me now. It's a bit higher in the range now to start buying. Alright, so before I wrap up the stream, sorry about my camera, we'll fix it for tomorrow, don't worry. But plan is very simple, right? Waiting for above 163, wait for a closure above here on at least 30 or maybe even a 15 if we're closer to volume time in the next 30 minutes or so. If we see that close above and then it holds support, make sure the next candle does not just reject here and start coming down. then you can look to continue this price, and it's a very, very simple type trade. If we end up breaking down from around here and pulling back London, but still hold above 162,500, if that creates us a zone to trade, don't be scared. We could potentially take buys back up to here and get that break in London open. So definitely consider those two options. I think that's the only plan. I'm not interested essentially now to take sells, and I don't think sells make sense at the moment. But yeah, anyways guys, appreciate you guys showing up, and as always, take care, trade sharp, and hopefully see you very, very soon. Peace.